Hey guys, welcome back to the Atlas Masterclass. This week we're in Sweden and today we're making Swedish meatballs with some mashed potatoes, some pickled cucumber and a beautiful sour cream sauce. So to get started with this dish, we're going to have our beef mince that we're going to mix with panko breadcrumbs, some allspice, salt and also some diced brown onion. So that will be mixed together. We're going to slightly wet our hands, roll it into some balls and we're going to cook those. Then we've got some sour cream which we'll be using in the mash as well as in the sauce as well. So once you've got all that beautiful beef and sort of onion and spice flavour in the pan, we're going to add the sour cream in, being careful to just sort of gently heat the sauce, and that's going to, so we don't split it of course, and then we're going to have a really delicious sort of, beef flavoured sauce with of course that allspice really driving through, and as well we're going to have some shallot in there. Then we've got some butter as well, and then we've got some sliced cucumber that we're going to mix with some sugar and some vinegar from your pantry to make a very basic quick pickle for our pickled cucumbers. So let's get cooking. So first thing we're going to do, turning on our induction, I've got our potatoes in this pot here. I'm just going to add the water in. I'm going to turn it up very high, adding a nice pinch of salt, and we're just going to cook those until the largest piece is cooked through. And very easily will sort of break down. We'll strain it off and then we'll put in the sour cream and the butter. So for the rest of the dish, to get started, we start by getting our beef mince. So straight into our bowl here. Our diced brown onion. Some panko breadcrumbs or breadcrumbs. So this will just help really bind it and hold it together. Some allspice. And then a very nice pinch of salt, and also a nice pinch of some cracked black pepper. If you've got a pepper grinder, just crack that into it, adding as much as you like. And then just mixing that. And once it starts to come together, I'll wet my hands slightly and then roll them into balls. So that's the sort of mix you want to create. So it should all really hold together nicely, and as I'll roll it, you'll be able to see it won't break apart, which will help keep them really nice and the right size. So with this, I can just sort of evenly divide it up. So I can probably get about 8 or so meatballs out of this. Just wetting my hands, which will really help make it easier to roll. And there we are, just really nice small balls, trying to get them as similar in size as possible. And then once they're rolled, we'll get them straight in the pan. So let's take a bit off this one. So now to start the cooking, I turn the pan on. Put a nice splash of oil in. Just spreading that around. And then I go in with our meatballs. This is sort of over a medium heat, just letting them cook as they, taking your time. You don't want to be too quick with them. And then by the time these are ready, I can finish my sauce, make our mash, and then we'll be ready to serve this beautiful Swedish meatballs. And while they're cooking, I add a nice pinch of salt to our cucumber, splash of vinegar, and just a little pinch of sugar as well. And then that there, just let that mix. The salt should pull some of the liquid out of the cucumber. The vinegar will give that really high acid content, and you'll have a really quick, simple pickle that will work really well with this dish. So now our meatballs are almost cooked through, so I'll start to take those off, just putting them in a bowl. Then I'm going to make the sauce, and you want to use the same pan as you've made the meatballs in, just getting all that flavour. Just a little bit of onion left in there, that's all right. I go straight in with our shallots. Just want to slowly just cook those. So they might need about 1 or 2 minutes, just cooking them gently. Don't want to burn them at all. You will have a bit of leftover onion and feel some things on the bottom of the pan from the meatballs, that's fine. And then our potato is going to be ready now as well. So what we'll do is straining that off into a bowl or into the sink, adding that back in with a whisk. Really want to break that all up, that potato. And before I add anything, I usually like to break the potato up, letting it dry out a little bit. And then we'll start adding the butter and the sour cream into that. So our shallots, giving them a stir. Great. Then with the sour cream, I'm going to add a little bit into the mash first, and then the rest into here. I just want to sort of let that melt. Give me the mix. I'm doing this off the stove, and then I'll put it on really low heat and just let it gently simmer to make the sauce. And on a really nice gentle heat. And now with the mash, I start to add the sour cream in, followed by the butter. Let that butter melt. And just great. And with this now, I'm going to add the meatballs back into it and just finish the cooking, just letting them warm through. Make sure they're cooked all the way through. There we are. I'm going to just turn that up just slightly. So you're not trying to necessarily boil it because it will split, but you just want to warm it all through. Let that sort of sauce go a bit brown, which is the sort of the aim colour that you're going for. The allspice should help with that. Give it a little taste of the sauce and we'll be ready to serve. And with the mash, I'm going to really bring that all together. Have a little taste. Let's have a little taste of this. Very nice, just needs a bit of salt. Give that one more mix and it'll be ready. And our meatballs will be cooked through as well. So now to plate up, just got a really nice spoon of our mash, mixing that salt through all the way. Just sort of dropping that on like so. So you'll see with the meatballs that when you make them, the sauce, everything will sort of come off the bottom of the pan, darkening that sauce. You don't want the sauce to be split though. So you want it to be nice and sort of brown. Like when I was in Sweden, I had this dish with what they call a brun sauce. And it was, you know, just using all the beautiful flavors from the bottom of the pan. And it's just so tasty. Then next I finish with some dill. And then our lovely pickled cucumbers. And there we are. So that right there, our beautiful Swedish meatballs. Very quick mashed potato, some dill and our pickled cucumbers.